Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm speaking a bit about the Shem Angel Poyel. I don't do many vids on Shem Angels, and I'll actually get into that as well in this vid. But for those who have been privately requesting some information on Shem Angels, I'm doing this vid, and I think I've done one or two before. I most likely, to be honest, guys, will not do more. Um, and again, that's a personal choice. I will get into that a bit now. But I'm gonna share with you some information on the Shem Angel Poyel, and he is an amazing being. Don't get me wrong, most of them are fantastic, amazing beings. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few pointers here and point out some personal notes on this as well. But before I do, let me get started with his sigil, because this is an information vid. So you can use this sigil. There are more than one actually out there, but this is one of the simpler ones which works. Now again, I'm going to be speaking about the Shem Angel Poyel and Shem Angels in general very briefly, okay? From my experience, not from the biblical textbooks or biblical books or any of those other ancient materials. And again, I'm not disputing them, but I'm not speaking from them. I'm speaking from my experience, okay? Before I get into it again, guys, if you do require any of my teachings or services, simply hit me up and I'm going to help you out. So, an incantation for a Shem Angel, an N. There isn't really N's out there like we would have for an archangel. And of course the so-called demons, Their N, which is their dialing code, calling on their frequency, their presence, is actually done in a manner, I'm talking traditionally done in a manner of where you would find the text or the psalm or the verse from the Torah or any ancient biblical writings where the Shem angels are spoken about. You would basically read out that text, preferably in Hebrew, which can be not the easiest thing if you don't speak or read Hebrew. So that's the traditional way to go about it. And again, that's one of the reasons why I actually don't personally work with the Shem angels. I'm letting that out now. Please, now, I'm not trying to bullshit anyone. I've reached out on a couple of occasions. This one particularly took me 3 tries to experience entity's presence. And I did this for the sake of learning, for the sake of growing, and to share some knowledge with you guys. Okay, so no, I don't personally work with any Shem angels. I get in touch here and there for knowledge, which I always encourage you guys to have access to and to desire knowledge. So for the sake of knowledge, I reached out, and for the sake of knowledge, I'm sharing a bit of this information with you guys. So if you can't, or if you choose not to do the whole Hebrew text version of calling out entity's presence, what I did, and I got it successful on the 3rd try, I'll be honest, it took me 3 tries. I simply lit the candles, which I'll tell you now, what I used and worked was 1 green, 1 white. I had his name scribed on both, and I embalmed it with lavender oil. Okay, I put out offerings of water and fruit and some greenery, and that resonated quite well. What I also did was I played in the background, like next to me, obviously not blaring out loud, 11 hertz. That's the frequency for angels. So I latched onto that knowledge, and I simply stood there, candles lit, focusing on this specific presence, this specific name, this frequency, calling on this being. And like I said, on the 3rd occasion, I felt presence. So that worked for me without having to call out the Hebrew text or reading out the Hebrew verse. Some might give me backlash about it. That's cool. Again, I do believe there are many ways to skin a cat. As long as you've done it, I suppose, in a respectful and knowledgeable way, you will come to see that there are many ways. Yes, sometimes there are better ways than others, but there are many ways. So into some of his characteristics of benefit. Some of them are pretty obvious because we're talking about a Shem angel here. Compassion, grace. He will offer great guidance and healing, especially in grief. His presence is warm. That's an automatic sensation you get. A very reassuring presence type of warmth, right? He will also increase your empathy and means to help other people. Okay. He will grant you, because of his understanding, greater spiritual understanding, and that goes hand in hand with the empathy and the means to help other people. So if you're a practitioner in helping, guiding, teaching, healing people, this is an angel that is fantastic to reach out to meditate with, and to work with. And on that note, yes, besides doing all the other long rituals that are out there that's spoken about, simply meditate on entity. Once you've lit the candles and called on entity, sit there and meditate on entity's presence. It goes a long way. You can also draw onto his positive energies. He will allow you to latch onto his positive energies, which I think is pretty fantastic and generous. So, yeah, frankincense, I apologize. Use frankincense. That's pretty much the only incense that I would recommend for this is frankincense. So, I hope that blabbering made sense to you guys. I didn't come here with some deeper textbook teaching. It's a teaching that I found to be true, and I just want to share to the guys for those who needed a bit of information on Shem angels. Okay, guys, be good or not.